What if I told you that the democracy that you believe in, the one rooted in freedom, equality, and opportunity, is actually slipping into the hands of a select few? The land of the free is gradually transforming into the land of privilege for the elite. Today's billionaires influence elections, corporations write legislation, and the gap between the rich and the poor continues to grow. But is this a natural evolution, or is it a warning sign? The question is, could America already be on the road to becoming an oligarchy? And if so, how would we even know? Let's start with the basics. What is democratic capitalism? Democratic capitalism is a system that combines two key principles: the economic freedoms of capitalism and the political freedoms of democracy. At its core, it's meant to create balance. Private enterprise, innovation, and market competition drive economic growth, while democratic governance ensures that power ultimately lies with the people. In practice, this system has led to some of the greatest advancements in human history. Think of the rise of the middle class, universal education, and widespread access to healthcare in many capitalist democracies. Citizens have a voice in shaping their government, and the economy is structured to provide opportunities for upward mobility. It's not perfect, but the ideal is clear. Everyone should have a fair shot at success, and governments should work for the people, not just for the powerful. Now, let's look at oligarchy. The word oligarchy comes from the Greek word oligos, meaning few, and archein, meaning to rule. It literally means rule by the few. But in the modern sense, an oligarchy isn't just about numbers. It's about power being concentrated in the hands of a small elite group. This group can take many forms. It could be a wealthy class, powerful corporations, political dynasties, or some combination of all three. Unlike democratic capitalism, oligarchies thrive on inequality. The system is designed to benefit the elite at the expense of the majority. Decisions aren't made with the public good in mind. They're made to preserve and expand the power of the ruling class. Over time, this leads to stagnation, frustration, and often rebellion. The key difference between the two is this: capitalism thrives on shared prosperity and representation. Oligarchy thrives on control and exclusivity. So how does a democratic system like America begin to resemble an oligarchy? Well, the first and most obvious sign is economic inequality. When wealth becomes concentrated at the top, those with money gain more access to power. This isn't just about personal wealth, it's about how wealth translates into influence. The richest Americans have access to politicians, think tanks, and media platforms that amplify their voice. Meanwhile, the average citizen finds it harder and harder to make their voice heard. For example, as of today, the top 1% of Americans control more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. That's not just a statistic, it's a symptom of a system that prioritizes the wealthy over the majority. The second factor is corporate influence in politics. Lobbying has become one of the most powerful tools in American politics. Corporations spend billions of dollars every year to influence laws, regulations, and even the elections. One of the clearest examples of this is the Supreme Court's Citizen United decision in 2010, which allowed unlimited spending in political campaigns. That decision essentially declared that money equals speech, and those with more money now have a much louder voice. Next comes the erosion of democratic institutions. This happens slowly, almost imperceptibly. Voter suppression tactics like strict ID laws and reduced polling locations disproportionately affect minorities and low-income voters. Gerrymandering, where voting districts are redrawn to favor a specific political party, ensures that some votes carry more weight than others. Over time, these practices weaken the power of the average voter and consolidate control in the hands of the few. And finally, there's the media consolidation and propaganda. In a healthy democracy, the media acts as a watchdog, holding the powerful accountable. But when a small group of billionaires owns most major media outlets, the narrative becomes controlled. Dissenting voices are drowned out, and the public is fed stories that align with the interests of the elite. This limits diversity of perspectives and makes it harder and harder for citizens to make informed decisions. These are the steps. They don't happen overnight, and they don't always look obvious. But piece by piece, they shift power away from the people and towards the elite. Now let's ask the big question. Is America becoming an oligarchy? Consider the signs we've just discussed. Economic inequality? Check. The wealth gap in America is growing every year. The average CEO now earns over 300 times what their workers make. Corporate influence? Check. Billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and the Koch brothers have enormous sway over not just the economy, but also political decisions. Erosion of democratic institutions? Check. Voter suppression, gerrymandering, and low voter turnout create a system where many Americans feel their votes don't matter. Media consolidation? Also check. A handful of companies like Disney, Comcast, and News Corp control the majority of the media we consume. When you add all of this together, the picture becomes clear. The United States is showing many of the hallmark signs of an oligarchy. It hasn't crossed the line completely, but the warning signs are definitely there. The question is, do we recognize them before it's too late? Well, here's the thing. America isn't fully an oligarchy. At least not yet. History has shown us time and time again that democracy can recover, but only if citizens take action. In the early 20th century, the progressive movement fought against corporate monopolies and demanded their labor rights. In the 1960s, the civil rights movement fought for racial equality and voting rights. These were moments where people refused to surrender to power and to the elite. The lesson is clear. Democracy isn't guaranteed. It's something we have to fight for every day. By voting, organizing, and holding our leaders accountable, we can push back against the forces of oligarchy. Because the future of America doesn't have to be a story of decline. It can be a story of renewal. But the choice is ours. So what do you think? Is America already on the road to oligarchy? Or is there still time to change the course? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it valuable. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned some.